Welcome to Adiman Metric ISNT School online class. I am B. Silvam, PG Assistant English. Students, life has no age bar because learning has no limits. Age is not at all a matter for doing adventurous things. Like a proverb, art is long and time is short. You keep learning things from the time you are born. It is not only education but adventures. People can learn anything at any age, so people should change their point of view and encourage people who want to learn. Likewise, today we are going to see 12th Chamachir Kalvi poem Ulysses. Ulysses is the Latinized name of Odysseus, the hero of Homer's epic poem, the Odyssey. Let us see the poem Ulysses, which was written by Alfred Lord Tennyson. About the poem. The poem Ulysses is a dramatic monologue that contains 70 lines of blank verse. Ulysses is a dramatic monologue. Monologue means a long speech by one actor in a play or film. This is a dramatic monologue, the poem Ulysses, that contains 70 lines, about 70 lines of blank verse. Blank verse means verse without rhyme. Ulysses, the king of Ithaca, gathers his men together to prepare for the journey and exhorts them not to waste their time left on earth. Ulysses, the king of Ithaca, Ithaca is a country, his kingdom, gathers his men means his people, together to prepare for the journey and exhorts means strongly encourage or urge someone to do something. He urges people them not to waste their time left on earth. Ulysses has grown old, having experienced many adventures at the Battle of Troy and in the seas. He experienced a lot of battles. Battle of Troy means it's a battle which was happened because of the Queen Helen. It is mainly happened in seas. After returning to Ithaca, he decides to embark. Embark means go on board a ship or aircraft. Upon his next voyage, after returning from the battle to Ithaca, he is eager to go to next voyage. His inquisitive spirit is always looking forward to more and more such adventures. So he is very eager to go again and again for like that adventures, voyages. The present poem, can be divided into three parts. The first part, the thirst for adventure, which does not allow Ulysses to remain in his kingdom as a mere ruler. He is eager to go for adventure. The adventure does not allow Ulysses to remain sit in his kingdom as a mere ruler. He doesn't want a mere ruler. This is the first part. Second part, Ulysses handing over the responsibility means duty, to his son Telemachus with total confidence in his abilities. He believed his son Telemachus and handed over his kingdom to his son and his responsibility to his son, duties to his son. This is second part. Third part, Ulysses' clarion call to his sailors, urging them to venture into unknown lands. Clarion means loud and clear. Ulysses loudly and clearly call his sailors, his people, urging them to venture into unknown lands. Venture means a risky or daring journey or undertaking to unknown lands. This is what about the poem. Next, we are going to see about the poet. Who is the poet? The poem Ulysses was written by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Alfred Tennyson, first Baron Tennyson. He was born on 6th August 1809 and died on 6th October 18 1792 was a British poet. He was a poet laureate of Great Britain and Ireland during much of his Queen Victorian regime and remains one of the most popular British poets. He was considered to be a poet laureate. Poet laureate. Laureate means a person who is honored with an award for outstanding creative or intellectual achievement. He achieved a lot in the poetry, in the literature. That's why he is considered to be poet laureate of Great Britain and Ireland during the period of Queen Victoria's reign, and remains one of the most, because of this or this reason, he is considered to be a most popular British poet. Tennyson excelled means perform exceptionally well. Tennyson performed exceptionally well at penning short lyrics. Penning means write or compose. So you want to learn new words. That's why in the textbook giving new words instead of write or compose. Penning. Penning short lyrics such as break, 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 the charge of the light brigade, tears, idle tears, and crossing the bar. These are all the lyrics are written by Tennyson. He wrote verses. Verses means lines on classical mythology. Mythology means epic like that, such as Ulysses. It's a big poem. About contains 70 lines. Idyls of the king and the Tithonus. Tennyson's use of the musical qualities of words to emphasize. Emphasize means give special importance or value. In his rhymes and meanings, he is sensitive. His rhymes are very sensitive. That's what about the poet. Let us get into the poem, The Ulysses. Lines. It little profits that an idle king, by the still hearth among these barren crats, matched with an aged wife, I mate and dole, unequal loss unto a savage race, that hoard and sleep and feed and know not me. What does it mean? It little profits. It little profits an idle king. The poem begins by telling us that a king gains nothing from just sitting around by fire with his wife and making laws for people who don't even know him. The speaker at first seems to be some kind of observer or impersonal figure who knows a lot of about how to be a king. But here in third line, matched with an aged wife, I mate and dole, unequal loss unto a savage race, which means we learn that the king himself, Ulysses, is speaking. The praise it little profit is another way of saying it is useless or it isn't beneficial. Meet means to allot or measure out. Here it refers to the king's allotment of rewards and punishments to his subjects. That's what meet and dole. Unequal doesn't mean unequal loss unto a savage race, which means unequal doesn't mean that the rewards and punishments are unjust or unfair, but rather variable. Matched doesn't means matched matched with an aged wife. Matched doesn't means doesn't refer to a tennis match or other sporting event. It means something like paired or partnered with. Unequal loss unto a savage race. Ulysses' subjects are presented to us as a large group of drones who do nothing but eat and sleep. That's the first stanza. It little profits that an idle king by this still hearth among these barren cracks, matched with an aged wife, I mate and dole, unequal loss unto a savage race, that hoard and sleep and feed and know not me. Let us see the next. I cannot rest from the travel, I will drink. life to the least. All times I have enjoyed, greatly have suffered, greatly both with those. What does it mean? I cannot rest from the travel. After his moralistic opening, what he says, Ulysses tells us more about why sitting around doling out rewards and punishments, these are all bores him. We learn that he is a restless spirit who doesn't want to take a break from roaming the ocean in search of adventure. He will not let life pass him by. I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the least. All time I have enjoyed. Greatly I have suffered greatly both with those that loved me and alone on shore, and when through scudding drifts that rainy heights vex that dim sea, I am became a name for always roaming with a hungry heart. So what does it mean? The poet says already told we now what learn that he is a restless spirit. Who is that? Ulysses is a restless spirit who doesn't want to take a break from roaming the ocean in search of adventure. He will not let life pass by him. The word lease in the water, before that we saw that the word lease refers to, originally referred to the sediment accumulated at the bottom of the barrel of wine. That means you want to taste the very last drop. Nowadays we might say something like live life to the fullest. We may say what in other hand. That loved me and alone. Ulysses tells us he has had a lot of good times and lot of bad times. Sometimes with his best friends and sometimes alone, both on dry land, while sailing through potentially destructive storms. That's he said here. That loved me and alone on shore, when the scudding drifts, the rainy heights, wakes dim sea. Sometimes he has a good time, sometimes he has had a lot of bad times. Scudding drifts are pounding showers of rain that one might encounter at sea during a storm or while crab fishing off the coast of Alaska. Here the hires means hires means what does it mean? Hires a group of stars in the constellation Taurus, often association with rain. Their rising in the sky generally coincides with the rainy season. Here they are presented. Here they are presented as agitators of the ocean, vexed the dim sea. I am become a name for always roaming with a hungry heart. Much have I seen and unknown cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments, myself not least, but honored of them all, and drank a delight of the battle with my peace. What does it mean? Ulysses elaborates on the good times and bad times. Well, mostly the good times he enjoyed during his travel. The phrase I am became a name means I am became a name, which means something like became a household name. Ulysses has became a famous because he is traveled to so many places. Ulysses tells us that he was visited a variety of different places with different manners, weathers, governments, etc. He portrays himself as a Renaissance traveler of sorts with an insatiable desire, that means hungry heart, to see as many places as he can, try as many foods as he can, etc. The praise myself not least means But myself not least but honored of them all means is a little tricky word, tricky sentence. It means something like I wasn't treated like the least little thing, but was honored by everyone I met. Ulysses also describes that the time he spent on the ringing plains of windy Troy, the famous city where the Trojan War took place. You know, that famous war dramatized in the Brad Pitt movie Troy. The plains are ringing because of the armor clashing together in battle. I am a part of all that I have met is a strange phrase. I am a part of all that I have met is a strange phrase because usually we say something like all the places I have seen are now a part of me. The phrase suggests that Ulysses left parts of himself everywhere he went. This sounds like another way of saying I do not belong here in Ithaca. I am not only belong to Ithaca, I am belong to total world. For on ringing plains of windy Troy, I am a part of all that I have met. That means the plains are ringing because of all armor clashing together in battle. I am a part of all that I have met means in strange place. What I told you. Usually we say something like all the places I have seen are now a part of me. The phrase suggests what does it mean? That Ulysses left part of himself everywhere he went. This sounds alike another way of saying I do not belong to here in Ithaca, I belong to all over the world. I am a part of all that I have been means what? I am not only belong to Ithaca but also I belong to all over the world. Yet all experience is an arch where through gleams that untraveled world whose margin fades. Forever and forever, when I move, how dull it is to pass, to make an end, to rest unburnished, not to shine in use, as through to breathe where life piled on life. What does that mean? Ulysses further justifies his desire to keep traveling and living a life on adventure. He compares his life or experiences to an arch and describes the untraveled world as a place that gleams at him through that arch. All he has to do is walk through the arch. The first two lines of the phrase are very tricky. Yet all experience is an arch where through glimpse that untraveled world those margin fades. These are tricky that we are not entirely sure what that they are mean. One way to read untraveled world. What does it mean untraveled world? Is and refers to death. It's always looking at him through the arch of his experiences, but somehow seems to recede. Margin fades as he keeps moving. You could also think of untraveled world as an arch. As Ulysses moves, his experiences make an arch covering the arch of the untraveled world. The more he travels, the more the margins or edges of that world recede or covered up. That's what the poet said here. Forever and forever when I move, how dull it is to pass, to make an end, to rest unburnished, not to shine in use, as though to breathe where life piled on life, were all too little and one to me, little remains, but every hour is saved. So here, forever. So Ulysses reiterates how boring it is just sitting around when he could be out of exploring the world. It's a lot like that feeling you get when you are just getting into the rhythm of things and have to stop. He likens himself to some kind of a metallic instrument that is still perfectly useful and shiny, but just rust if nobody uses it. Like that ancient bicycle in your carriage. If Ulysses weren't a sailor, he might say he is just collecting dust. For Ulysses, life is about more than just breathing and going through motions. It isn't about adventure. Ulysses continues to say that this is where all too little and one to me little remains, but every hour is saved from that eternal silence. Something more, a bringer of new things, and veiled where for some 3 suns to store and hoard myself, and this grey spirit yearning in desire to follow knowledge like a sinking star beyond the utmost bound of human thought. So Ulysses continues to radiate a lot for adventure, claiming that he even multiply a lifetime wouldn't be enough for him to do all the things he wants. At this point, though he is an old man, a grey spirit near the end of his life, and he wants to make the most of what's left. It's a waste of time for him to hang out in Ithaca for 3 years when he desires for adventure is still so alive. The praise, but every hour is saved, which means from that eternal silence, something more, a bringer of new things, is strange. What does it mean? It means something like each additional hour that I live, or each hour that I am saved from death, brings me new experiences. For some 3 suns to store and hoard myself, and this grey spirit yearning in desire. 3 suns doesn't mean 3 days, but rather 3 years. Ulysses has apparently been wasting his time for quite a while. The phrase follow knowledge like a sinking star is ambitious. To follow knowledge like a star, it is ambitious. On the other hand, ambitious means what you know. So, snake and these are all the things what ambiguous. That means it can live both land and water. Likewise, the to follow knowledge like a sinking star. It's a ambitious, two meaning line. What does it mean? On the other hand, Ulysses wants to chase after knowledge and try to catch it as it sinking like a star. Another meaning, Ulysses himself could be a sinking star. That makes sense too. He is a great personality who is moving closer to death. That's what the poet beyond the utmost bound of human thought. That's why he says like that. So that's what the first part, the point's first part. We may see remaining in next class. Thank you for watching, students.